Hi everyone, my name is Lori, and for my interpersonal relationship that I've been doing my essays about over the semester was about my relationship with my best friend. Her name is Jessie, and so Jessie and I met back in middle school. We had always known of each other, but we didn't really become friends and start talking until 7th or 8th grade, around that time. And we're still friends to this day. I guess you can say we kind of grew up with each other. We ended up going to different high schools, which was kind of hard because we didn't get to see each other as often. And then now, after I graduated high school, since I graduated early, she's still back in my hometown, and I'm here in Alaska, and so it's 3,000 miles away from each other, and that got really difficult for us. So that's just a little background of how we met. So the things that I wanted to cover in this presentation, one of the things for us after I left El Paso or Texas here in Alaska is conflict management, because I feel like for us it became really hard not seeing each other as often, and we didn't talk as often either. She started hanging out with her own friends, and obviously when I got here I'm doing school and I started working a lot more, so I didn't really make time, a lot of time for her anymore. And honestly, throughout our friendship, we haven't had a lot of fights or conflict at all, but when we do, I feel like we're both really stubborn and we become really distant. So if something happens, she won't reach out to me and I won't reach out to her, and we won't reach out to each other until the other person does, which is kind of difficult and doesn't make sense because then no one will reach out to each other. And so it's not easily resolved when we do have a conflict. But over time, we've tried to be more outspoken with each other, and if something's bothering us, we'll let the other person know. And really, we haven't had much conflict since I've left, other than the fact that I haven't made as much time for her. And so there was a time where she told me that, and she told me that we haven't talked as much, and she would appreciate it more if we were to make more time for each other. And then for the study that I found for this specific conflict management, Bippus and Young in 2019, their study found that saying "I'm sorry" is really vague, and it only offers a minimal apology towards the other person. So between me and Jessie, we try to do more than just say "I'm sorry," and we try to understand and recognize each other's emotions and why we're feeling a certain way. And then throughout our friendship, I feel like we haven't really set clear boundaries, because we met at a young age, and back then and even now, I'm barely starting to grasp the concept of what healthy relationships are. And so for us, we had never established those clear boundaries and what we expected from each other. And this has led to conflicts between us, because there has been times where I feel that she has overstepped a boundary, and I'm too stubborn and too shy to tell her something, and so I still haven't. I haven't told her about the situation and how it made me feel, but hopefully I get to the point where I can express that to her. As far as self-disclosure, Jessie and I have always been super open towards each other, and I feel like that's something that I really cherish with our friendship, even though it might be a little too much at sometimes. This helps us to feel like we both have someone to rely on, because I know that after I left, the friends that she has now, she has told me about how sometimes they'll kind of put her down about certain things. And so when she communicates that to me, I try not to do that towards her, and I try to be very understanding. And obviously I don't sugarcoat things with her, and I still tell her if she's gonna get hurt with a guy, I'll tell her that, stuff like that. But I try as much as I can to really listen and understand her feelings. And then for the study I found for this one, Turner and I think it's called TEDS in 2011, They stated that research has shown that when people disclose to us, we not only feel greater attraction, but we also disclose more to the person in return, leading to mutual interpersonal attraction. And I feel like between Jesse and I, we both come from very strict families. We're both Mexican, and I don't know if anyone would be able to relate to this, but Mexican families tend to be very strict when it comes to certain things. And so I think we both gotten to a point where certain things we don't feel comfortable disclosing to like our parents or our family, and so being able to have each other to self-disclose to as much as we can without feeling judged, like that's something really nice to have. And that's why I try as much as I can to listen to her when she expresses something to me, and she tries to do the same in return for me. So moving forward, I hope that we have more empathy towards each other and to set more clear boundaries, because I know that that's something we haven't done, is we haven't set clear boundaries in our friendship of what we expect from each other. And so I'm really hoping that we can do that and avoid conflict, even though we don't have much conflict. And then I also hope to gain assertiveness, and I hope that she can do the same towards me if I ever overstep a boundary. And hopefully soon I can express to her how I felt about a certain situation, and that I felt that she overstepped a boundary, and I hope that she can do the same in return if she ever feels that I've done that towards her.